Now, coming to you live from our studio deep in the heart of West Texas, this is the Cowboy Corner Show.
Hey everybody, what's going on? This is the Cowboy Corner Show. I am the Cowboy, and I am also in the corner as always. Hey, I just want to say thank you for tuning in. Thank you for joining me tonight. I am flying solo. There is no producer. There is no editor. There is no crew in the studio tonight here in West Texas. I'm here by myself. I guess there's a thing called a Christmas break, and Christmas break, Christmas rest, Christmas holiday, however you want to refer to it. They're on it, and I'm not. So here we are, diligently working to bring the people the best show that I can bring them. So this is going to be it, ladies and gentlemen. And I just want to say Merry Christmas to you all. I know it's not Christmas yet, but this is going to be the last show that we do before it is Christmas. So this is going to be the Merry Christmas show. I don't know for sure that it's going to be the last show before the new year or not. We're still hashing some things out. I may have a show coming like New Year's Eve. I can't guarantee that yet. We're working on it. But this is definitely the last show before Christmas. So Merry Christmas to you all. Thanks for tuning in. If you're new to the show, I sure do appreciate you joining us. I appreciate you taking your time, trying us out, watching, and hopefully we'll have a good time. As always, I ask that you like, that you subscribe to the channel, that you share the videos. That movie says that every time a bell rings, an angel gets its wings. So when you click that little bell, and I think that's for the subscribe, well, an angel gets its wings, according to, what movie is that? Beautiful Life? I think that's on It's a Beautiful Life. Or not Beautiful Life. It's a Wonderful Life. That's what it is. Every time a bell rings, an angel gets its wings. So let's be sure and get all them angels up there, armored up, get their wings on them. So start clicking subscribe to this channel if you have not already. And you can always contact the show, contact the Cowboy via Instagram. Direct message is the best way to do that for the time being. And we're getting some other things in the works, but for now, that's the best way to do it. So once again, thanks for tuning in. We're going to have a good time tonight. We're going to go through some things. It's going to be kind of a quick show, kind of a simple show. No crew here, nobody to lean on. So it's just me and you, baby. So let's do it. All right. I got something that's just like sitting right here, and I kind of need to just vent it for a minute. I was driving to the studio, and it's about a 30-minute drive for me. And I just don't understand. And I don't know, like maybe some of you are on the other side of this and you can weigh in and tell me and just like give me the perspective from another person's opinion. Maybe if you are one of the people that I'm talking about here, but like I have this thing and it just really grinds my gears on the inside. Like when I'm ready to go somewhere, like when I'm leaving someplace to get to another place, I'm doing it, mission oriented. There's a goal in mind. I'm trying to get from point A to point B, and I want to do that quickly and efficiently because there's only so much time in the day and I have a lot of things going on, so I don't understand why people would take the time to get up off of their couch, out of their bed, out of the kitchen, whatever they're doing, leaving their place of work, whatever they're doing, they make the effort to stop doing that, to get in their vehicle, to start their vehicle up, to put their vehicle in drive and put it on the roadway. Then why do you not want to go? Like, what's the deal? Why do you not go? Like, you get on the roadway, you pull out, and it's like a snail. Like, you just, nothing to do. You're going to hit, maybe 20, 25 miles an hour on the main thoroughfare. You pull up to a red light. The light turns red. You stop. Okay, yeah, that's what we do. We stop. The light turns green. You're taught in driver's ed, when the light turns green, you press the gas pedal and you go. Why do people not? Like, what is your motivation, as I just said, for stopping what you're doing at your house or wherever you're at and getting in your vehicle if you don't have somewhere to go? And if you're, I know what people are going to say, well, they're probably on their phone. Okay, if you need to be on your phone, if you need to be checking your Facebook or Instagram or whatever, you can stay on your couch and keep doing that at home. You don't get in your car to do that. Like when you're in your car, you need to be focused on getting where you're going. I don't understand the other side of that. And, if you're a person who, like I said, maybe you're the person in front of me, maybe you're watching, explain to me the mindset. Explain to me what's going through your head to get in your car and then not want to go anywhere, not want to be anywhere, just want to putt around. You want to stop at a light that's red, and then when it turns green, you just want to stay stopped because you obviously have nowhere to go. Well, I do. And I can't go in these situations because you can't go, and you're in front of me and you're not going. And so therefore I'm not going, but yet I need to go somewhere. And, you know, there's another lane on a lot of roads, sure, but you can't always just get in them because there's other traffic that is usually going. But that's just, it happened to me. And this isn't an isolated incident. This happens a lot. It happens almost every day at some point or another. And I don't understand it. And so I just wanted to breathe that out because I've been carrying that, and it's not healthy to just carry that frustration. So I figure, hey, I'm going to put it out over the airwaves where, you know, a lot of people may come across this and may be able to give me, because if I understand your mission or your point, maybe I'll understand it better and I'll be more patient. I'll be more relatable to deal with why you're not going. But as of right now, it's just like you're defeating your purpose and you're holding me up, and I have things to do, like do a Cowboy Corner show for the people. And so I feel better now. I feel better. And I thank you if you listen to that rant. I thank you for doing it. And, you know, help me out. The people help the people. So I could use anything, any kind of comment. If you want to comment on the video, like I said, send a message on Instagram, give me a call, give me a text, whatever your way of communication is. And just let me know. Just let me know what's going on. Why do you not want to go? Why do people not go? So it's a simple question. I need a simple answer, please. So with that being said, the college football playoffs, they've happened. Round one is in the books. Round one happened just a couple days ago. And, you know, it kind of went, for the most part, the way that I thought it was going to go, the way that I predicted it in last week's show. We had a couple of teams in there that really kind of proved that they didn't belong in the college football playoffs. And, you know, that's not a shot on these teams. I'm talking about, obviously, Tulane and JMU, James Madison. And I'm not a hater on these schools. Like, they did what they needed to do. And according to the system that sets this college playoff bracket up, like, they met the goals that they needed to meet. Both of these schools individually lost one game apiece during the regular season, and they went on and they won their conference championship. Now, the kicker is the conferences that they won was, I believe, the American Conference and the Sun Belt Conference. And if you go through and look at the teams, like I'm not pulling them up right now, but if you go through and look at the teams, like, yeah, they won these conferences, but that doesn't correlate when you go to the big boys. When you start playing an SEC school, when you start playing a Big Ten school, you're apples and oranges. And again, that's not the fault of the schools. And I'm not bashing the schools. I'm not criticizing the schools. I'm criticizing the system. And, you know, we knew that this was going to happen. I mean, we predicted it. I predicted it on last week's show. You can go back and watch. You held out teams, like the next two teams that should have been in would have been Notre Dame at probably 11 and BYU at 12, or vice versa. But those would have been the two schools that would have been in. Now, BYU, they went undefeated in the Big 12. The only team that they lost to, which they had 2 losses on the record, and the only team that was, because they played them twice, was Texas Tech. And that was in a regular season game. And then they played them again in the conference championship. And those are Texas Tech's the number 4 team in the country, and they beat BYU twice. But that's not a bad loss when you say the only team that we lost to all year is number 4 in the country. And then with Notre Dame, you know, they had, I don't have the record in front of me either, but I think they lost 2 games. And one game that they lost was to Miami. And Miami is a team that made it into the college playoff. And just this past Saturday went to Texas A&M in College Station, Texas, in a stadium that has 102 some odd thousand people. Yeah, 102,000 people. It's like the biggest stadium in the entire NCAA football industry. And they won that game. And not only that, but they held Texas A&M to 3 points. They didn't even let them score a touchdown in their own yard with 102 fans. That's the team that beat Notre Dame and kept Notre Dame out of the playoffs. So we have these two major conference, big, powerful schools that are staying at home so that we can get James Madison and Tulane into the games, into the playoff games. And then we end up, Ole Miss beats Tulane by 31 points. It was 41-10. And Oregon beat James Madison 51-34. And let me tell you, both of those scores are skewed. They could have been worse than that had they wanted to, because Oregon, for a fact, put in their second and third string players late in the game. So, they backed off, and they allowed the majority of these points that James Madison scored was in the second half, and that was after Oregon backed off, and Ole Miss backed off on Tulane also. And the reason that they did, both of these teams, they knew that they had these games in the bag by halftime. And so they knew, next week we've got to go on to the next round of the playoffs, and we're going to have to play a more meaningful, more important game against a much better school. So we're going to pull our starters out. I mean, that's a typical strategy in that situation. So, they could have had another 20 points added to that differential, at least, had they wanted to, had they kept their foot on the gas the entire game, but there was no reason to do that. So, but it just shows like the system is not right. The system's broken in that department, and we need to give the teams credit for winning their conference. Yeah, but like you got to put a separator between the big boys and the little boys, and they don't play together. Like, we've got to fix that. And that doesn't mean add more teams, make it a 14 or a 16 or an 18 team playoff. That's not the answer, because you're still, when that's said and done, you're still going to have the 19th and the 20th team that people are going to be saying, well, they should have been in instead because, they had this record and that record. It's a never ending cycle. And then you end up getting like the NCAA basketball tournament where you're going to have 64 teams in, and then you're going to have these little schools. But the basketball tournament, that's totally different, because these smaller schools can actually do some things, the Cinderella schools in the basketball tournament, and that's a different story. We're not going to get into that tonight, but, that system was broken. It proved itself. These teams lost. Again, not a bash on those schools. They did what they had to do, and they earned their way into the playoffs according to the way the system works, but the system needs to be changed. We should have had a Notre Dame and BYU in, just like I said last week, and it would have been much more entertaining than these two blowouts that we witnessed. And then the other one was Alabama and Oklahoma, which that was a good game. That was actually by far the most exciting game of the entire 4 games that we had this weekend. Oklahoma was up 17-0 at halftime, and it looked like they were running away with it. And then all of a sudden, Alabama just turned on a different level, and Oklahoma fell face first. I don't know, but it ended up being 34-24 Alabama with the victory in Oklahoma. And I've got some family that's big Roll Tide fans, so that worked out good for us. And then you had Texas A&M and Miami. Like I said earlier, Miami went into Texas A&M in that rowdy environment and really just didn't even allow them to score at all. I mean, 1 field goal. And I think that's the first college playoff game in the history of this playoff series where there hasn't been a touchdown scored for one team or another. So that's a big deal. That shows that Miami, man, they may be a little more than what was bargained for. They may have a little more gas in the tank than what we actually thought, because they went in barely. I think they were the last team other than the James Madison and Tulane situation. Miami was in at number 10, so they barely made it in. And then they went to Texas A&M and came out with the victory. But, honestly, like, that's what Texas A&M does. That's what Texas A&M has always done. And again, I don't say that from a place of dislike for Texas A&M. I do like Texas A&M. I have family members that went to Texas A&M. I know a lot of people who are Texas A&M alumni. They're all good people, and I like Texas A&M and I respect them. But they blow it every year. They always have. And that's just the facts. A lot of years they just, crap the bed right off the start, and you don't even have to worry about it. But then in the years where they're promising, where they come in, they pay their coaches the most money. They have, as I said, the biggest stadium, the most fans, the biggest fanfare, huge money to coaches. They're throwing everything that they've got, and they promise you the world. They'll do good like they did this year. They stayed in the top 5 the entire season. They went undefeated up until one of the last games of the season where they lost a close one to Texas. And you're thinking like, yeah, this is their year. And then they go to the first round of the playoffs. They have home field advantage. They're up against the 10th ranked team, and they don't even score a touchdown. And unfortunately, that's the history of Texas A&M. Even with Johnny Manziel, and you thought, man, this is the year. Nah, it wasn't the year. I don't know if it's ever going to be the year for Texas A&M. And again, I like Texas A&M. I want to see them do good. I want to. Unfortunately, I never have. I've seen them do good the regular season, but then that's as far as that goes. So as far as OU, I've never liked OU, and I'm always glad to see OU lose. I mean, I'm not a Texas Longhorns fan, but I'll always go for Texas Longhorns over OU. And the kicker that had the short shorts, like, it shouldn't be allowed. It's disgusting. You should not have to see that much thigh on a man, period. Why he chooses to do that, I don't know. And then he even started getting shirts made. There's a picture of the shirts that the guy had made. Like, there was a little arrogance tied to it. There was a little OU kicker arrogance, short shorts, long kicks. And the thing is, like, as long as you're winning, as long as you're doing good, he's making all his kicks. I think he didn't miss a kick in the entire regular season. And you can look ridiculous. You can be ridiculous. You can do everything ridiculous as long as you're winning. Like Cam Newton, you can do the crazy outfits and the weird hats and the weird glasses looking like, the cat in the hat, whatever. As long as you're winning, you're going to get away with it. But when you stop winning, then you just look ridiculous, and there's no punchline to it. Like, you just look ridiculous. And this kicker, he missed 2 kicks, 2 field goals. One of them was pretty much a chip shot, and he missed them. So, in my opinion, that gig's up. Like, now you're just a laughing stock. Like, you were a laughing stock to begin with, but at least you were putting out the results to keep people from actually laughing at you as much. But, and you had your T-shirts and everything. But, like, now your gig's up, bro. Your gig's up. Put on some regular length pants. Put on some long socks. Like, make yourself look like a professional. If you want to be a pro kicker, you're going to have to look at there. In Jesus' name, they're not going to allow that kind of dress code in the NFL. They don't as of right now. And just believing that they won't. Like, you're going to have to dress like an adult if you go pro. You're going to have to start making kicks first. You're going to have to lose a little bit of that attitude and start making some kicks first. And then we'll see what happens. But the gig's up. Get rid of the short shorts. Dress like a real, adult, and maybe your game will change. But I just thought that was pretty funny. And I was kind of relieved, honestly, that we were able to get past that short shorts situation. So I think that's all we got on the college football playoffs. So, let's go through. So these are the games that are coming up. So we're going to have the first game is going to be December 31st. That's New Year's Eve, 6:30 p.m. We're going to have, that's going to be 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. Miami is going to go to Ohio State. I mean, they're not going to go there. It's at the Cotton Bowl. Miami's going to play Ohio State in the Cotton Bowl. And then we're going to go to New Year's Day, January 1st. So at 12 o'clock Eastern time, you're going to have the early game is going to be Oregon and Texas Tech playing at the Orange Bowl. Then you're going to have the 4 o'clock p.m. game is going to be Alabama and Indiana. That's going to be at the Rose Bowl. And then you're going to have the All-State Sugar Bowl on January 1st at 8 o'clock Eastern. That's going to be Ole Miss and Georgia. So that's a rematch right there. Georgia won that game in the regular season, but just barely. Ole Miss had them on the ropes. Georgia's favored by 6.5, but that's going to be a close game. I really think Alabama's going to upset Indiana. I just do. Indiana's favored by 6.5, but I think Bama's rolling. I think they're rolling, and I think that, I don't know. I can't say I dislike Indiana. I don't dislike Indiana, but that's a Cinderella story kind of, and I just think that they're going to run out. I just think they are. Oregon and Texas Tech, that's pretty much a toss-up. That's a 1.5 point differential. Oregon's actually favored over Tech. And I don't know if it's a good thing that Tech has had, though. It'll be like a 3 or 4 week rest up to this game since last time they played. So I don't know if that's going to be good. Oregon's going to be, fresh in the playing sense. Texas Tech's going to be fresh in the resting sense, but that's not always a good thing. Sometimes you want to have a fresh game under your belt. That's going to be the one to watch, in my opinion. Oregon and Texas Tech. So, and I'm a lifelong Oregon fan. I'm not going to say lifelong. I'm a 25-year Oregon fan. So I have definitely got my my feelers out on the emotional standpoint of Oregon going all the way. They've been to the national championship twice already, and they lost both times. And I want them to go back, and I want them to win. At the same time, though, Texas Tech, that's my home team. So they've got their thing going. I'm really on the Texas Tech bandwagon, and that's the game that I'm excited for. But at the same time, like, somebody's got to lose, and I don't want either one of them to lose. I want them both to win. I wish they weren't playing each other, but might as well get it out of the way early, right? Sorry if I may have some coffee in my mustache here. So anyway, on to the NFL. Next up on the list. So the Seahawks and the Rams played last Thursday night. That was a heck of a game, man. That was a heck of a game. And who knew that Sam Darnold was good? Like, where'd this guy come from? He was playing for the Jets a couple years ago. He was trash. They couldn't beat their way out of a wet paper bag. And then now Sam Darnold goes to Seattle, where he's got like an actual system. He's got some actual people around him, some players. And the dude is just like housing the Rams, taking them on a 2-point conversion in overtime, some kind of trick stuff. I mean, Sam Darnold, I was like, when did Sam Darnold get good? Like, where's this guy been all my life? I don't know, but he definitely had it cooking. He was cooking Thursday night against the Rams, and the Rams are my team, so I didn't want to see that either. But, it was a good game. It went into overtime. Like I said, the 2-point conversion, they just went for it right there. They were going to win it or lose it on that play, and Sam Darnold threw a little dot right in the back of the end zone to the tight end, and they ended up winning. So congrats to them. I'm not a Seahawks fan, but they won that game fair and square. Did anybody see Matt Stafford's teeth? Like, what's going on with Matt Stafford's teeth? Look at these things. Like, that's too pretty to be an NFL football player. Like, those teeth, man. Those are some ceramic, porcelain, I don't know, like the same thing that they build toilet bowls out of, I guess, but it's like polished, bright white. Nice grill, bro. Nice grill. I saw that. That was the first time I ever really noticed it. I guess just the way that they have the lights set up there in the Seattle Stadium. Those teeth, man, they were almost glowing. I was like, wow. My whole family noticed it. We were like, yeah, this dude is in Veneer City. But hey, they look nice. I'm not trashing them. Not saying anything negative about them. I'm just like, have you seen Matt Stafford's teeth? Here, let's take another look. Yep, there they are. The Jaguars are still good. We talked about this last week. The Jaguars were good out of nowhere. They were, I think, 9-4 whenever we kind of noticed that they were coming up. They won again. They're 10-4. And the Jaguars are good. They're for real. Here's a little interview clip that I wanted to share because
how are you going to be able to keep everything under control, just focus on the next game?
Right now, they just go hop on the bandwagon right now. Everybody in this locker room on the Jaguars team, even upstairs, we know everybody probably going to try to hop on this bandwagon now, but we don't want anybody. They can stay where they at. It's us.
He said that people are going to be on the bandwagon. They don't want them on their bandwagon. Well, okay. I'm not going to get on your bandwagon. I'm not on the Jaguars bandwagon. They don't want me on their bandwagon, so I'm not going to get on their bandwagon. But they're good. Like, they're a good team. So I'm going to say they're a good team. Like, I don't understand it. Just like apparently they don't understand it because they don't even know where this is coming from. It's just them. It's just us, man. Whatever. Don't get on our bandwagon. Well, I'm not going to get on your bandwagon, but you're good. Nobody knew the Jaguars were good. I mean, Trevor Lawrence was a first-round draft pick back a few years ago. He's actually playing like one now. I don't know what changed there. I know that they do have a new coach. I think he was new last year. So there may be a different system in place that's fitting Trevor Lawrence better. He definitely has improved. He's looking like the Trevor Lawrence that we thought he was going to look like. So the Jaguars are good. We got to watch out for these guys. I think that they're going to win out, and they're possibly going to be the first place team in the NFC or the AFC. So, yeah, stay off their bandwagon, though. Don't get on the Jaguars bandwagon. They do not want you. They don't want you. The guy said it, okay? What about Joey Burrow? Joey Burrow is back, y'all. He's happy. Listen to this.
Yeah, it was fun. I'm having fun playing football.
He's happy to be playing football. Well,
not playing football is not fun.
Praise God. You know, we prayed for Joey
Sitting in the locker room
last
rehab.
week because he was down and out, man. He had some crappy games. You know, he was rehabbing. He was coming off injury. He was just feeling down in the dumps. And then the next week he went out and threw like 2 or 3 interceptions. That was after that interview that he had where, you know, he's like, I'm not having fun and blah, blah, blah. And then he went out and had another horrible game. And I was just like, oh, man. Our prayers didn't avail for Joey Burrow. But they did. They did, because then he went to Miami Sunday. They beat the tar out of the Dolphins, and Joey Burrow is back. He's having fun. He's enjoying football. Like he said, when you're losing, when you're rehabbing, it's not fun. But when you're winning, it's fun. So, you know, praise God, Joey Burrow's back. The Bengals need Joey Burrow. Football in general needs Joey Burrow. They're definitely, you know, they had a little bit of Flacco in there, and people at the first part of the season when Joey were hurt, you know, Flacco was kind of holding them on. They Flacco around and find out. I had the shirt. I have the shirt, but he just wasn't really cutting it. And then you get Joey Burrow back, and things have changed. So good job, Joey. We're glad you're back. We're glad you're having fun. The Steelers and the Lions, that. I watch the ending to this game. Just watch.
Can they pull it off with the season in the balance? Goff fires at the 1. He didn't get across, but there are flags down. Ball ends up in the hands of Goff. He goes across. Did they have a whistle first? Let's hear the call right here. What a major call.
The ruling on the field is a touchdown, however, pass interference.
What?
On the offense.
It's a touchdown. However, this is the NFL. This is a high school football. You can't say a touchdown. However, it's not a touchdown. What? I mean, what? And then it's not reviewable. We can't go back and change it. We can't look at it. The game's over. Steelers win. Lions lose. The ruling is a touchdown. However, it's not what? Like, are you trying to lose your job? The referees, they're renegotiating their union, whatever they are, the referee league union that they have with the NFL, like all of that's getting renegotiated at the end of the year for next year. You would think that these guys would be wanting to be like on their highest level, like really showing the NFL, like, man, we got this on lock. Like, we're doing the best job for you guys that can possibly be done. And then you're pulling out some crap like this. Like, what? I don't know. I've never seen that. And then especially you're at the pinnacle of football. You're in the NFL refereeing an NFL game, and I don't know. DK Metcalf punches a fan. Like, that whole thing was just, look at this. Like, I understand the fans talking mess, but number one, you shouldn't be over there listening to it to begin with. Like, you need to be on the bench. You need to be paying attention to the game. You need to be talking to your teammates, talking to your coaches, working on your game plan. You don't need to be standing at the sideline, at the end of the bleachers, letting a fan talk to you like that. Number one, you need to be just ignoring them. And then number two, like, you don't punch the guy. I know you may want to punch the guy, but you shouldn't be in the situation, and then you shouldn't let it escalate to the point that you punch the guy. Like, there was another case earlier this year, I don't remember who it was, but like a fan reached out and slapped a player, and then the player turned around and slapped him back. Now, that's a whole different situation because you got physically assaulted first. And again, the right thing to do would probably be not to slap back, but everybody knows like you're going to, and that happened and it was all kind of brushed under the rug. But this one, like you can't brush under the rug. And the news just broke earlier today that the NFL has suspended DK Metcalf, and I think there's a fine along with it too. I'm not sure. But like you can't punch a player. I mean, you can't punch a fan if you're a player. And if the fan didn't touch you first, like you don't even have anything to fall back on that like I was self-defense. All of that's out the window because the guy didn't do anything to physically touch you. So that Lions and Steelers game, man, what a clown show on all levels. What a clown show. Jeez. So what makes a Christmas movie a Christmas movie? Like where do you set your parameters on what is a Christmas movie and what is just a movie at Christmas? Because the main title that always gets discussed, the one that I see that's brought up all the time whenever this subject comes up, is Die Hard. Is Die Hard a Christmas movie? Is Die Hard not a Christmas movie? And it's debated both ways because half of the people will say it's a Christmas movie because, you know, it's surrounded by Christmas. Like the theme is Christmas. The whole, main part of the scene takes place in a building where they're having a Christmas party. That's where all the action is. And so it's Christmas theme. There's Christmas trees. There's Christmas music. Everybody's in their Christmas attire. They're giving gifts. Like that's Christmas. So it falls under the category of a Christmas movie. And then you have your purists on the other side who are saying it's not a Christmas movie because it's an action movie. Like it's Bruce Willis, crawling through ductwork and killing bad guys and, knocking them down elevator shafts and things like that, which makes it not a Christmas movie. And I see both sides. Now, I'm on the side that considers Die Hard a Christmas movie. And I'm not fighting against the people on this because there are a lot of people that are with me. Like, I'm not in the minority from what I know. I'm not in the minority of people who think that Die Hard is a Christmas movie or call it a Christmas movie, because a lot of people do, but then a lot of people don't. And so there's the debate. And I see this debate a lot, and it goes on with other movies too, like Gremlins, which I watched Gremlins just last night because I haven't seen it. That Die Hard's from the 80s too, but Gremlins is from like 84. It's even older than Die Hard. I haven't seen it since it was a fairly new movie. So I went back and watched it last night just to kind of refresh everything in my mind. Is Gremlins a Christmas movie or not? And it falls under the same category with Die Hard. Like, it's not Christmas related as far as the plot goes, but the whole makeup of the movie happens around Christmas time. There's Christmas everywhere in the movie, so it falls in the same category as that. And that brings up an argument, because when you talk to the so-called purists who say that a Christmas movie has to be a Christmas movie, well, you ask them, what about Home Alone? Is Home Alone a Christmas movie? And the majority of the people that are the purists, they say, well, yeah, of course Home Alone is a Christmas movie. Well, how is it any different? Because it's the same sequence as Die Hard, as Gremlins, and we're even going to throw like Batman Returns. We're going to throw Batman Returns in there. It happens at Christmas, like everything's going on around Christmas. But with Home Alone, the plot of the movie actually has nothing to do with Christmas. The plot of Home Alone 2, people are going to say, yeah, that's also a Christmas movie. It has nothing to do with Christmas. You could replace all of the Christmas season in that movie. You could replace that with, say, spring break. Say the McAllisters get on their plane and they're flying to Honolulu for spring break, and they leave Kevin at home. The entire plot of the movie is going to be the same. You don't have to change anything in the movie except possibly get rid of the scenes that involve freezing and ice, because that's probably not going to happen in spring. But like the whole break-ins, the bad guys scouting out the area because they know that a lot of the residents are gone on vacation. All of the makeup of the movie can be just the same. It doesn't have to be Christmas. So you see where I'm going? Like, it all meshes together. We don't know what's going to be a Christmas movie and what's not. What I did, just to, when you face a situation like this, you kind of just have to have something that's going to be a dividing line, right? You're going to have something that is going to be black on this side and white on this side and no gray in the middle to kind of get like what is what. So what I did is I used a little bit of AI resources, and I just I asked AI, and this is non-biased. I'm not biased on this. I just said, give me 3 points that will dictate on a movie whether it is considered a Christmas movie or considered just like a regular secular movie, right? And so the 3 points that AI came up with as a guideline is, number one is the plot. So it says Christmas must drive the story. If you remove Christmas from the plot of the movie, does the movie still work? Okay, so you have to have, the plot has to be Christmas as the main theme and as the driver. Number two is the theme. The movie must have an actual Christmas theme and not just Christmas decoration or, Christmas scenes, like the main theme of the movie, which that's where you're gonna get a separation of the plot and the theme. That's where you're gonna get a separation of Home Alone, of Die Hard, of Gremlins, of Batman Returns, because they're themed at Christmas. Christmas is in the entire theme, but the plot is totally different. The plot goes another direction. So according to the black and white, they're not going to be a Christmas movie. The number 3 point that I was given is the tradition. So it's something that people intentionally watch and rewatch simply because it's Christmas. And so that's where most of these movies are going to fit in, like especially Home Alone. For instance, the tradition that we have at our house, my wife especially, she puts up the Christmas tree. She starts doing the decorating usually right around the 1st of November. And as she's, getting everything assembled, the trees up and decorated, because we have numerous trees, y'all, she watches Home Alone and she watches Home Alone 2. Like, that's the tradition. So these Home Alones, I mean, they meet 2 of the 3 criteria. The only thing is the plot is different. So what I thought, and there's more of these movies, especially as you go back further, because you can go all the way back into, It's a Wonderful Life and Miracle on 34th Street. These are going to be like the movies that fit all 3 categories. So that's like a pure Christmas movie. Elf is going to be a pure Christmas movie that meets all 3. You can't have Elf. If you take Christmas out of the plot, you don't have Elf, right? The Grinch is going to be a pure Christmas movie. If you take Christmas out of the plot, you're not going to have the Grinch movie. And then there are several, I'm not going to name them all, but I mean, there are several, even, the old ones that they still show on TV, the Frosty the Snowman, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, all the Disney, Mickey Mouse Christmas and stuff. Those are all going to fit in there. But the majority of what we call Christmas movies, and this is according to AI with 3 plots that are giving you a divided line. Like, I just have to call it like it is. Again, I'm not biased, but that's telling you Die Hard technically is not a Christmas movie. Home Alone is not going to be a Christmas movie. The Gremlins, not going to be a Christmas movie. Batman Returns, not a Christmas movie. And you even get into the more modern and kind of the ones that are kind of out there on their own category anyway, like Four Christmases, Christmas with the Cranks. A lot of these movies, they're not, according to these plots, they're not really Christmas movies, because you could take Christmas out of the plot of, Christmas with the Cranks. Again, you could do that at spring break. You could do Four Christmases. It could be a family reunion setting, or spring break again. Like, these can be changed up and they're still going to work. So according to that, the Christmas movie, like pure Christmas movie, has just gotten in a much narrower category. And so, I hate to break it down that way, because I consider Die Hard a Christmas movie. I consider The Gremlins, and I just watched it again last night, but it's a Christmas movie. I'm not a purist in this situation. I think that if it's Christmas theme, it's a Christmas movie, and I'm going to keep thinking that. And that's why, my, I guess, final outcome of this debate is just going to be that let it be what you want it to be. Like, we don't have to go by any certain criteria. This criteria was brought up just to put a dividing line in there, but we don't have to go by it. It can be what you want. If you want to watch Home Alone as your Christmas tradition, then get after it. If you want to consider Die Hard a Christmas movie like myself, then you're free to do that. So we just have fun with it, and leave a comment. Like, let me know if you have any input on this, any comments, any other movies that come to mind that I didn't go over. Like, it's a free discussion, and it's just something that's fun to do. But honestly, I think a Christmas movie is whatever you make it, as long as there's Christmas in there somewhere. Like, a lot of people are going to say Batman Returns is not a Christmas movie, but you look at it, there's Christmas everywhere in that movie. There's Christmas theme everywhere in that movie. So it's just as much a Christmas movie as a lot of these other ones. And so, people, I'm going to leave you with that. That's going to be all of the show for tonight. I thank you for tuning in. I thank you for joining. I thank you that you subscribe to the channel. We keep stuff coming. We're doing shows once a week as much as we can, and I appreciate everybody that takes the time to tune in. I really do appreciate you spending your time with us. I hope that you all have a Merry Christmas, potentially a Happy New Year, but hopefully we're going to be back by New Year's Eve to spend some time with you there. But I just want to close this out by a little mention here that I'm not trying to close it out on a sad note or anything, but I just feel like it needs to be brought up that that the NASCAR legend, and this is from back in the good days when NASCAR was good, Greg Biffle, he passed away last week, and not only did he pass away, but his entire immediate family, his wife and his 2 kids were with him in a plane crash. And there was also 3 other people who were included, another father and son who I believe was, the father was a pilot, and then another man who was a co-pilot, and the son. So there were 7 people altogether that were killed in that plane crash. And, I just feel like I need to just honor him a little bit, because Greg Biffle, I'm just going to be forward with you. I was not a fan of Greg Biffle whenever he raced. Nothing personal. I didn't dislike him. He just drove a Ford, and he drove for Jack Roush. And at that time in my life, which is ironic, an ironic storyline, but at that time in my life, I was anti-Ford and anti-Jack Roush, because that was like the premier team in NASCAR. And this is, we're going back to the early, I don't know when he actually even started, but it was early 2000s, mid 2000s. I think he may have even started back in the 90s. That's when NASCAR was good, y'all. Like, NASCAR was, it went hard back in the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, into the mid, 2000-ish. That's when the men were men, they didn't have them castrated where they took all their personalities away. They made everything just generic, and that's when you knew who the drivers were. They all had personalities. You had your good guys, you had your bad guys, and man, it was fun to watch. It was exciting. I went to a lot of NASCAR races, and again, I wasn't a fan of Greg Biffle, but I definitely knew who he was and definitely respected him. And like I said, the reason I wasn't a fan of him is not anything personal. He never, flipped me off or insulted my family or anything like that. I just didn't like him because he drove a Ford and he drove for Jack Roush. Now, ironically, later on in my life, I actually bought a Ford Mustang that was a Roush. And so I ended up having to eat a lot of crow in that really nice car. I don't have it anymore, but I had it, and it was a very nice, very fast car. But anyway, just a sad note, Greg Biffle and his entire family were killed in a plane crash last week, and it's sad, but I just wanted to honor him a little bit in any way that I could, so just close the show out with that. And then one more thing on the subject, I just want to say, which this is not what this show's about. I'm not going to go there necessarily. I'm going to do I'm going to do a lot more on this. I'm going to get a lot more in depth on this because this is something that really grinds my gears, kind of like the road rage situation. But when it comes to this loss of Biffler, the loss of anyone, let's just understand. And I want to clarify this in the most simple way as possible, but these are the things that I hear and I have to correct it. But you have to understand that God did not do this. God did not have anything to do with this plane crash. Like God didn't take Greg Biffle and his family. God didn't take the pilots. God didn't take your family member that passed away. God is a giver, and he's only a giver. He's not a taker. So God is a creator. He's a giver. And if you don't understand that, people say, well, I don't know why God took him, but his ways are greater than ours and we'll never understand until we get to heaven. Well, actually, you do understand. There's a book right here. I keep it right here on the corner of my desk. There's a book right here, and everything that's in here gives you an understanding of the character of God. And if you actually read it, instead of just hearing people spew crap out of their mouth that don't know what they're talking about, if you actually know the character of God, you understand that he's a giver of life, not a taker. And he only gives good and perfect gifts. And the main part that you need to read when you open that book is if you go to John, verse 10, chapter 10 and verse 10, there's a man called Jesus in there who is the earthly epitome of God, right? So Jesus said in another verse, I do not do anything or say anything unless I hear my Father say it or see my Father do it. So anything that comes out of Jesus's mouth is coming out directly from God. And what he says in John 10:10 is that the thief, the enemy, who is the devil, comes to steal, to kill, and to destroy. But I come to give life and to give life abundantly. So he laid it out there. You can't make it more simple, more black and white than that. If it has to do with stealing, with killing, or with destroying, it comes from the devil. If it has to do with life and abundance, prosperity, it comes from God. And it's really hard to mess that up once you understand that. So let's not say God took anybody, because he didn't. God doesn't need you in heaven right now. If you're here on earth, you're here for a reason, and you're going to spend eternity with him when it's your time, but that doesn't mean that he's trying to get you there early, right? So understand that God is a giver, a good God. He's love. He's not schizophrenic. He's not, giving you all of this hope and dreams and faith at one point, and then the next day he's mad and he's going to take you out. That's not God. That's not the character of God. So please just understand that. And like I said, I'm going to break that down a lot more in depth coming up. I'm not going to do that today because that's not what this show's about. But I just wanted to get that out there. Like, let's not say stupid things, okay? Let's just not. So, hey, once again, thank you for joining us. Thank you for tuning in. Like, subscribe. You can contact me via Instagram, and we will be doing another show soon. I'll keep you up to date. I think that I was able to get everything going here by myself. So, so hallelujah, we did it. So we're going to go ahead and end this show. Hope you all have a great evening, a very Merry Christmas, and be blessed. We will see you later. Thanks for tuning in.